Hello again, family. My name is Chris. I am your home gamer dad, and welcome back to Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, a micro version of a massive game. Last time we did the second scenario, Crossing the Road. We learned about the collector. We learned about items. We got a little bit more details about elements and things along that ways. And at the end of this particular scenario, there was a fork in the road of sorts, depending on who it is you were playing as. If you were playing as the Bruiser, you would go on to scenario number 4, barging in. If you were any other character, you would do scenario 3, in the walls. I asked you guys through letting me know down in the comment section. Most of you did that, or a good chunk of you did that. A bunch of you actually messaged me off this as well, like through Facebook and a few other ways as well. Just kind of giving your opinions and your thoughts and ideas about what I should do for the remainder of the series. The consensus was to not switch characters, to just kind of see it all the way through to the end, you know, as far as we can go, as far as we want to go, whatever, without doing any of the branching paths. And then once this is all done, come back to the game later to one-offs showing off each one of them. So I will actually do scenario 4 breaking in much later. But for right now, we are going to go ahead and just go and do scenario 3 in the walls. This is our first level 2 scenario, so we are completely leveled up. We have new abilities that we need to talk about, new health, new modifier boards, all that stuff. But before we do that, I want to read the story description here, set things up really quickly, and then tell you everything about going to level 2. Scenario 3, in the walls. Unlike the rest of us, King Button hasn't been shrunk. The collector leads you to a small crack in the wall that is not nearly as small as you. He's the smallest imp you'll ever see, but in this place, he's still a giant. Spent all his life being called the Runt, but now he gets to be the big man, and it's all gone to his... Uh-oh! A squeaking rises as a host of mice scurry towards you. This place really has fallen into despair. Monsters. Mouse. Goal. Defeat all monsters. Okay, scenario 3 map ready to go. What do we got here? We have ourselves a lot of obstacles all over the place. Again, that is the green bordered items. We cannot pass through those, but we can jump over them, but we cannot land on them. We have to like completely go past them in order to find our ways around and things along that ways. And actually we start in this corner, which is not the best idea. We do have one trap up here, which does 1 damage and poisons anything that comes into that trap. So, you know, that would be a good idea to push some mice into that. Speaking of mice, we have 3 of them that start. We have one down here right next to us, next to both of these objects. We have another one up here between all 3 of the different area items or whatever. And I'll explain what this purple thing is in a moment. And then speaking of purple, we have number 3 up here, which is the purple color mouse all the way up at the top, going to be making his way, scurrying his way down to try to bite me. This purple spot right here, this is basically hazardous terrain. It costs 2 movement to move into it, but only 1 to move out, and that is for everybody. So even the mice will need 2 movement in order to get into there. Let's go ahead and put our cubes down here. So that's green, that's blue, that's purple. And again, the goal of this one, as we had the last few, is to defeat all monsters. Cragheart starts all the way down the bottom. As far as the mice go, they may not do a lot of damage, but they are vicious and they can do damage multiple times. So the first slot for the minus is a 6 initiative. Jeez, 2 move, 1 damage, and we'll put up a retaliate of 1. So if I hit him with anything and I'm right next to him, I will immediately take 1 damage. And they can wound me, which means at the beginning of my turn, I will be taking 1 damage. The next thing they have is an initiative 19. These are very fast creatures, as I said. Move 3, attack 2. That is probably one of the worst ones they got. And then the +1 is a 46 initiative. They attack 1, they move 2, and then they attack 2 with a piercing ability of 2. So if I put up any shields and they roll the plus, they'll be able to most likely get around it. They have 9 health each, and they have a passive retaliate on them. So this adds 1 to the retaliation, meaning that if I'm right next to them, they will be doing 1 damage to me. I definitely may want to think about taking these guys down from a distance. 9 health, quite a lot to deal with. It's a good thing our Cragheart is level 2, which is what this scenario is. So basically, first that means our hit points go up to 13. So I started that here. I'll talk about the items that I brought along in a moment. Our what is this, modifier chart goes up to level 2 as well. So you would go to your box, find the level 2 of whatever character you're playing as. So I have Cragheart, and that would just go right in here. Let's see, some differences we would see. This is now a +2 instead of a +1. This is a -1 instead of a -2. That's good. The miss move down 1, got a +1, a +2, which is awesome. A lot more pluses already on this level 2. This effect will muddle them all the way over here. That's great. And then everything else, some more +1s as well. So that's an awesome ability to have to increase damage that the Cragheart can do to multiple foes. You may also know that we only have 3 cards here. When you level up, you have the choice of taking any cards equal to, like, if you're level 2, you do 1 of them. If you're level 3, you do 2 of them. Any one of these can be swapped out at any time. Once you swap it, it's not a permanent thing. It's only for this scenario. So for this scenario, I decided to take Dirt Tornado and swap it with Cataclysm, because that's what it says on the card. I can only swap Dirt Tornado with Cataclysm. So that is what I chose to do. So Dirt Tornado, which is a level 1 card, will go back into the box, and Cataclysm will go into my deck. As you can see, it is just a better version of it, does more damage, both natively, and then be able to immobilize people if I absorb Earth. I can move more, a lot more if I absorb more Earth. And then on the back, Stone Pebble actually adds a second spot to the back, so I can hit in front and behind me. And then it'll give this bottom part a movement, which is great, because then maybe I can push somebody into the, into that poison trap. In addition to that, just to show whatever, the initiatives are way better. 82 to a 26, and then 75 to a 21. So that is a crazy better initiative, even though the rats still mainly beat them just by 2 out of the 3 symbols they have. And finally, the 2 items that I'm going to be bringing into this battle with me are the Bottle Cap Helm and the Venomous Fang, both of which I believe I used in the last one. Bottle Cap Helm, during an enemy's attack, treat its plus modifier as a miss, which is awesome. And then Venomous Fang, during your melee attack, add poison to it. Poisoning these guys will definitely help, because I just need to disease the rats before they get to me. All right, let's get this party started and pick our first cards and jump in the walls. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Explosive Punch and Rock Slide as my first 2 that I'm going to play. Explosive Punch will probably be what I do in the beginning here. 3 damage, +1 damage if target is adjacent to an obstacle. I target one enemy within 3 hexes. If I'm adjacent to an obstacle, I'm very much adjacent to an obstacle, and I'm going to try to go after the green guy up there, then knock him down as much as possible. And then for Rock Slide, I would just use the 2 movement, just kind of shift myself over a little bit, force these guys to come around at me. So there we go. That's what I'm doing for my hand. For the mice, the mices, they are going at 0, which is 19, so they're going to go before me regardless. That is a move 3 and attack 2. Greenie is coming right at me, and he's definitely going to be able to get to me. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and he's going to attack me for 2. We have our modifier over here, so we'll roll this. That is a 0, so he's going to hit me for 2. 13 down to 11. Ouch, that stinks. And then I think blue here, just going to make fast, going to go 1, 2, 3 right into it, because again, that is difficult terrain, so it requires 2 movement to go in, but it's faster than him going 1, 2, 3. He actually is 1 space closer to me doing that. And then you'll probably also go 1, 2, 3 right there next to the difficult terrain as well. Okay, my turn. Again, I have my Rock Slide and my Explosive Punch here. So again, Explosive Punch, as far as I read it, is not a ranged attack, so I will not get disadvantage against him. But honestly, the only thing I can really do best with Rock Slide is activate this down the bottom, add +1 to all your attacks this round. It's just going to go into my discard pile at the end of the round anyway. So it's +1 to my attacks. So it's 3, 4, 5 damage. Add +1 if the target is adjacent to an obstacle, which it is. So this is 5 damage going up as again green right here with a roll of minus. So that is -1. So that is 4 damage to green. So we'll go over to green, and he'll go from 9 down to 5. Would have been nice to knock him down a little bit further. But this would go down 1, and then the green hit me, so this actually goes down 1 as well. and that is going to end our turn. Both of these will flip to side B, come back to my hand, and we'll see what happens next. All right, so I think I would actually get the retaliation damage from this rat because I was next to him when I did damage to him. So I will put myself down at 10 right here. This is going to be a tough one. I can tell already. Oh, boy, oh, boy. I think then what I'm going to do is I have Rumbling Advance in my hand out of this. So that does infuse Earth into the room. I'm going to do my Kinetic Assault and my Cataclysm. I'm going to use both of the last side A's that I have. And for my Kinetic Assault, I'll put up my own retaliation because if green attacks me, he'll at least get himself hit for 2. None of these guys have ranged attacks at all, so they're not going to hit me otherwise. But at least with this, green will take some damage back. And then with Cataclysm here, it's a massive area of effect attack that I don't lose the card or anything, which is even better. Normally 2 damage. I can absorb the element to make it 3, hit a bunch of things, and if they go before me, then maybe I can hit more within this than just like the one guy right in front of me. That would be great. Even if the blue moves in a little bit more, I should be able to hit both of them. They could both get muddled, and then they would both be immobilized for their next turn. Not that it matters. I'm very stuck where I am anyway. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I do have a healing card in case I need it, which I probably will. And they again go at circle. Now, my initiative is 19. Their initiative is 19. I don't know who does what at this point. I'm going to say I get to choose. So I'm going to ask them. I'm going to tell the mice to go first. I forgot to flip this back over to my Cragheart side. Not that it really matters or whatever. But again, not that it really matters. I don't know if that's a thing. Would they go before me? Would I go before them? Is it a choice or whatever? But I'm going to say that the mice are just going to go before me. Well, I don't know why I rolled. Well, no, that's the circle for this guy to hit me, which is +0. So he's going to hit me for 2. So I am down to 8 health already from my 13. And then you would move 3, but you would only move 2 to get there. And then I think you would do the same thing the other guy did. 1, 2, 3 right there to move in. So they're like really getting close to me and just keeping me in this corner. If I had a jump move, I could run away a little bit, but I might be able to push them if I can at least get rid of this green guy here. And what stinks is that it was one of those things where I had to do one or the other at the time because I could not set up my retaliate first in order to do what I had to do before moving in. So I should have went beforehand to put retaliate, but then Cataclysm wouldn't have hit as good as it's going to right now, because I'm going to be able to hit blue and green right now. I can't hit purple, but at least with blue and green I can hit. I can absorb the earth in the room in order to gain +1. So it's 3 damage to anything up to range 2. So that's both of them. I can hit them. Well, I can target something range 2, and when I target that thing in range 2, it hits in this pattern. So if I target blue, it hits the 2 of them. So it's actually 3 damage. They'll both be muddled. They will both be immobilized. All right, first attack against green. Immobilization would be great if I could actually have gotten out of that corner. Plus attack. All right, so that's 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. Was I supposed to move this down? No. This is my second attack. This goes down because this guy hit me before. But that is my second attack. That is +2. That is exactly 5 health. Oh, mama, that was close. That was close. All right, so you're gone. That's fine. Now this moves down, bloop, and we're going to go ahead and roll for an attack against blue, which is another plus. That is awesome. You are back up here. You are in the center of the shot that I was going to do. So that is, again, another +2 because of this, which is fantastic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So blue takes 5 damage. It is now down to 4, and it is muddled and immobilized, so it cannot move its next turn. This goes down. I am actually not doing anything else, calling it a turn. Both of these flip to side B, come back to my hand, and okay, all right, okay, I see what's going on here. All right, so in my hand I have Stone Pummel and Rumbling Advance. Each of them puts an element into the room, so that's some air and some earth. Not that it really matters because air doesn't do anything, but earth might be able to do something. think I'm going to do Crater and Stone Pummel for this round. My initiative is 21, so I'll actually switch these over this way. The lower initiative to the left in the hopes that I'll be able to, if they roll a plus, great. So at this point, what I can do then is I could use the Crater attack by absorbing the earth. I can target something within 3 and do 3 damage. So if I hit blue, I can do 3 damage to blue and then push it 2 if I absorb earth, which would push it right into the poison spot, dealing 1 damage and poisoning it, which is fantastic, and it can't move. This is only if I can get, this is only if they roll a plus, by the way. And then I could do the bottom half of Stone Pummel, which is move 2, and then anything within range 1, I can push 2. Then if the target is adjacent to an obstacle, it suffers 2 damage. So I might be able to kill blue this round, depending on how things go. Real big, maybe, depending on how, the enemies go. And it is a minus. Man, I'd rather them actually get a plus. So what this means then is they move 2 towards me. They do 1 damage, and they do have a retaliate of 1 that will wound me, which means at the beginning of my turn, I will take damage. When I heal myself, I'll be able to actually get the heal, but then I should also be able to remove the wounded condition. All right, so it doesn't matter with my 21. I'm going to be going second anyway. So blue is going to move up here, and he's going to attack me for 1, which comes to a plus. Of course it is. What the heck? Let's use the bottle cap helm right here on an enemy's attack. I can then treat it as a circle or a circle instead of a plus. So instead of adding that 1 damage, he does nothing. I mean, it's better to use over here so I don't do the modifier of ×2, but I think I'll be okay. So he's only going to do 0, which then is 1 damage to me. So that'll bring me to 7. And then purple's going to go 1, 2 right next to him as well. Okay, with it being my turn, I think I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, you know what? Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Okay, we reversed it back to what it was. Purple up here, blue right there. Blue cannot move. They are immobilized, so they can't go anywhere. And all purple can do is move up 1 space because that's as close as they can get to me because they can't get past these objects right here. There we go. That's what it was supposed to be. The move of 2 and whatever was definitely the right choice there. Because I was then thinking like, oh my God, do I have to do something different or whatnot? No, I am fine. I can continue with my original plan. Okay, so we're right here. We're going to use the Crater ability, which targets an enemy within 3 spaces, doing 3 damage. And then because I'm going to absorb the earth for this, I'll be able to push 2. I'm going to go ahead and just do that to the, I'm going to do that to the blue right there. So first we're going to do a 3 damage with my modifier of a plus. So that means that it's +1 and he is muddled. He actually would have lost the immobilized condition, but he stays being muddled. So he does 4 damage, which honestly doesn't matter at this point because he is now dead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bye-bye, Mr. Mises right here. So that is awesome. All right, so we'll move this down. So the next attack does have the possibility of doing a ×2 crit. Not that it matters because the next thing I'm going to do is not even going to crit. I'm going to go 1, 2 because I'm using the bottom part of Stone Pummel. And then I'm going to use the push 2 ability to something that is a target of 1. That is target 1. Then if the target is adjacent to an obstacle, suffer 2. So I'm going to push it 1, 2. By moving it into the trap right here, it did suffer 1 damage. So he is down to 8. And it is poisoned, so that means any attack I do against it will definitely do 1 additional damage. But then speaking of additional damage, because I hit it against a wall or an obstacle, it is now down to 6. Fantastic. Didn't even have to roll anything on that one. Awesome. But this also means that these 2 go into my discard pile. I do only have 2 cards left, Rock Tunnel and Rumbling Advance. It doesn't matter which one I play because unless they roll a plus, they are going, or the purple one is going before me. So let's see what they do. All right, so Mr. Purple Mouse over here rolls a plus. Wow, so it is that. So I do go before them. But the funny thing about this is like a double attack. So they would be able to hit me, move, and then hit me again if they had the option to do so. I don't think that's going to matter. And they could pierce me if I had any damage, but I do not. So that is fine. I still don't suffer any retaliation damage because everything I've had has always been at least a space ahead of me. Always got to use range on the mice or else they are going to, they're going to hurt you good. I'll be honest, as much as I would love to have these things right here in order to do something, I'm not going to bother with it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Rumbling Advance. I mean, technically, this would have been in the room because of Rumbling Advance, but I'm not using anything to absorb it. So first thing, I'm going to use the top right here and heal for 3. So we'll go 9, 10, 11. So at least I'm back up to 11 health. And then for the bottom part here, I'm literally just going to go back into my little corner using my 2 movement. Either one doesn't matter. All adjacent enemies, that is what it is. So with those 2 done, that's going to be it. And then Mr. Mouse is going to attack 1, move 2. So I think it's just going to move into the difficult terrain because otherwise that would be further away from me up here. And it's not going to move into the trap again. And then attack 2. It does not have any range or anything like that. So it is right there. So I think this is the best thing for me to do. Because now what I'll have to do is these go to the discard pile. And I have no more cards in my hand. So I'm going to need to either long rest or I'm going to need to short rest. And I think because of the position I'm in, even if he moves 3, he's not going to go to me. So I'm going to long rest this turn. This is no longer in the field. We'll just have the rat roll for a circle, which is actually the worst one I could think of being. So my initiative is 99. The rat's going to go 1, 2, 3, moving up there. And then I get to go ahead and look at all my cards and lose one of my choice. I'm actually going to toss Kinetic Assault. As much as I love this card, once it gets better, it's going to just have so many more uses in my hands for right now. Also, it's a low number, but it doesn't matter because the rat's going to go easily before me anyway. What I am going to do, though, is Explosive Punch, which is hopefully should be really good. And then I might as well go ahead and just Rock Slide that again. At the very least, giving it that extra little bit of a power boost, +1 to all my attacks. So then it would be 3, 4, and then this rat will definitely be next to an object for 5 damage. Plus, if I roll really well, I could do a ×2 crit and kill it immediately. Or if I even do a miss, the poison will deal 1 damage to it, also killing it immediately. The only question is, what's the rat going to do to me? He is going to do an initiative of 46, which is actually meaning that I'm going to go before him. Okay, that's cool. 1 damage, 2 move, 2 damage, and piercing 2. This is awesome. Holy jeez, this is awesome. This is amazing. If I manage to pull this off, then I win right now, depending on whatever I roll. If I don't screw up the roll. Explosive Punch, 3 damage. Add 1 if the target's adjacent to an obstacle, right there. Target 1 enemy within 3 hexes if you are adjacent to an obstacle. I am, so I'm targeting rat. 4 damage, +1 to all your attack, 5 damage. It only has 6 health left. By hitting it, I do 1 damage because it's poisoned. Right here is the determining factor. If I roll a minus, then it is still alive by 1 health. Guess what? It's still alive by 1 health. Are you kidding me? Come on. So instead of 5, I did 4 damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing it to 2 health. But because it's poisoned and I hit it, it automatically takes 1 point of damage. Oh man, it's the rat that doesn't die. Go down you go. And now it goes. Mr. Meese is going to do 1 attack and do nothing. It's then going to move right there next to me to do another 2 attack. And that one will actually hit. 0, it's 0. So that will do 2 damage, bringing me back down to single digits. Cragheart is at 9. Whoop, come back here. But that's okay. This is going to be the last turn anyway, because the cards I have in my hand should be enough to defeat it. All right, these flip over to their side B side, and they would go back into my hand with the one other side A that I have. And just again, looking at all this, Rumbling Advance is great because it gives me attack. And Crater is awesome because it also gives me an attack. I do put some earth into the room. I will probably be able to absorb it with the crater itself. Worst case scenario to push Mr. Rat away from me, but then I can move 2 and hit him for 2 anyway. So I got plenty of options in order to be able to knock this rat around. All I have to do is 1 attack to it and it's dead, but let's see where it goes. All right, it's a minor strange thing that happened with my camera there that decided it didn't want to go. But what we're doing right now is we are rolling for the mouse to see where it goes, and it decides that it wants to go plus, which is great, which is really, really good because that puts it at the initiative of 46, meaning that I'm going before it with my 29. And honestly, no matter what it is that I do to this thing, it is going to die. So there is earth in the room because of the rumbling advance, which I'm just going to use anyway for Creator. Now, I think this is a, what is it? A ranged attack. So what I have to do regardless is I have to roll disadvantage. So roll twice, take the worst. Well, that is the worst right there, so I don't even need to roll twice. Doesn't matter. That still does 1 damage to the thing, and it's poisoned anyway, which means that it is still gone. It is dead, and these 3 mice that infested the walls decided that they wanted to try to make a quick snack out of Cragheart, and he was like, no way, throwing all rocks, Earthbender style at them. That's exactly what the Cragheart is. Fantastic. Another job well done. Let's go ahead and flip on over the card, read the rest of the scenario now that we have won, see what new items we have, and prep ourselves for the next scenario. You emerge from the crack on the other side of the wall to find a crowd has gathered to investigate the sounds. At the front is a very large, or very small, depending on perspective, imp carried on a button throne. Capture the intruders! King Button roars. Play Scenario 5, Buttons Arena. Alright, we're amassing ourselves a pretty decent item collection over here, and now that we did Scenario 3, we have earned the Spring Hammer during your melee attack. Add 2 push, that is a 2-handed weapon. That's really awesome and actually a very good item to have. Or the Button Shield to go in the other hand, which is during an enemy's attack, gain 1 shield. Anything for damage reduction is amazing. Matching that with the Venomous Fang is not a bad call because you'd be able to put 1 in one hand and something else in the other. Now then, we never did Scenario 4. We're going right to Scenario 5. I believe that we still get these items in our inventory because it's just passing forward. Guys, let me know down in the comment section if I do or I do not. I'm pretty sure I do. But for right now, if we do, then we'd have gotten the Iron Nail. During your turn, add 2 piercing to all your melee damage, which is crazy. That is a 2-handed weapon. Or the Tanglevine Whip. During your attack, absorb earth or light to add immobilize to your attack. So it's a really cool status ability to that one as well. So with that said, we have now gained a bunch of new items. And in the next episode, we are heading to Buttons Arena, which is a boss battle, quote unquote, already in this. We've gone through several scenarios already, got a good idea of how it is for the game. Now it's going to start throwing some major things our way, including various scenarios that have different goals and different endpoints to them. And then, of course, various other things that happen while you're in the scenario as well. More than just go in there, kill everything. Some of them are very puzzly. Other ones are very, not as straightforward as these. And that's, I think, what makes it exciting and different as you go through this stack of scenario cards. But in the next one, we go ahead into Buttons Arena and try to take him on right away because he apparently is the big ruler of this whole thing. And if we show them our power, to establish our own dominance, we'll take over this tiny kingdom for ourselves, or at least force them to make us big again. Anywho, thank you all again so much for joining me on Scenario 3 in the Wall. At some point down the line, I will probably do Scenario 4 barging in for the Brute, just so you guys can see what he is all about and everything like that. But until then, let me know what you think of Buttons and Bugs so far. Is this something that you have? Have you played this past scenario in the walls? How did that go for you? Were the rats really annoying? Sorry, the mice. The mice are rats' enemies. These are mice. Can't get them confused. And I would just like to hear all of your thoughts, ideas, opinions, and just stories in relation to this game, because they're just, like all things Gloomhaven, there's never one solid path to doing anything in this game. There's so many different ways to do it, so many different approaches and builds and whatnot for your character. It is amazing. That means in order not to miss any future Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs action or any other fun video I haven't put out for you to enjoy, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. If you wish to support the channel even further, there are ways to do that down in the description section below. But as always, your view, your like, your share, your subscribe, your comments, all of those little things go to make this channel a big thing in the end. And I appreciate each and every one of you for it. You're amazing. Thank you. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together in the world of Gloomhaven and Buttons and Bugs. The smallest action can have the biggest outcome. So always do your best and always make sure to take those chances. Until next time, you guys have a good one, and I will see you later.